Yeah, I think I must have put my email down. Don't they make you put your email in before they let you send an email? So we'll see if he reads it. We'll see if he responds. Hello. So that's that. So here we go. So, what I've learned is that it is freezing in here. Through these many years. Okay, let me tell you this. What is it? Why am I saying I'm unhappy with myself after 35 years? I'll tell you why. Because when I was 19, I was flying high like Mother Teresa on a scooter with wings. That I was doing what I believe God wanted me to be doing. And I felt empowered. I would walk into college classrooms and add to the conversation when I didn't know what they were talking about. I would go into a classical music college symposium and speak on Mahler's Fifth Symphony when I wasn't studying it with everyone else, but I understood it enough to say something to the situation. I would have people come to me who had youth ministries in Glastonbury, and they would want me to speak to the kids because I spoke in a way that was so life-giving that people felt like I had to share this with other people. I would sit at the piano at certain Bible studies, and I would just play this very simple thing, but because my spirit was intending to bring people into understanding of God and a quietness and a holistic kind of reverberation, that I was able to do that on the keyboard, and people would respond to me positively and let me know that. I would hold Bible studies, and I would have nothing planned, and then I'd go to a scripture, and God would just immediately help me to see something in it, and I'd be able to teach on it, and people would look at me like, wow, like, not like you're amazing, but just like, wow, that's different. That's really something to think about. But anyway, in those days, I was, and I was just giving in those days, just like I said. My dad had lost his business, my mom had died, and I was just working in a pizza joint, helping pay for the groceries, basically. Just making minimum wage and paying groceries for my brothers and sisters to have something to eat, in the house. And I did that for a little bit over a year. And for most of that period of time, I just felt really good. I felt empowered. I felt useful. I just loved to love. And I just felt, more often than not, like inspired to say things and be a certain way where I would know how to respond to people and to be pleasant and to be a blessing to them. Now, was I perfect the whole time? No, I'm sure I annoyed my brothers and sisters now and then with my foolishness, but for the most part, it was a very strong period in my life where I knew what to do, and I did it, and I felt the immediate benefit of it. And then as time went on, 25 years later, here I am, 26 years later, and I can look back on my life since then and see, there were moments where I was approaching that, and then things would happen, I'd go down and come up a little bit and then down, and different challenges and relationships and disappointments and just never really got back to that 13-month, plateau that I felt like I had reached back when I was 19 years old. So that's why I'm just saying I know it just takes a simple change of heart to just want to do what's pleasing to God. And before you do anything, you sort of look for, support within you that this is a good thing to do. Now, I didn't sit there and wait for 15 minutes. Gee, I wonder if I should buy these shoes. I'll just sit here for 15 or 20 minutes until God tells me. In some cases, that could be useful. But in other cases, you need to make a decision. You need to move on. You need to make a choice and respond to how others receive it. And you just move on. And you're always kind of looking for what is, like the Buddhists say, what is the right response to this? What is the right action to take here? And the more you practice that, you kind of, what I learned is kind of like giving that to God, the more you sort of freely learn to be loving. And that's where it's sort of like where the Taoists say that, don't put too much effort into trying. You have to just sort of grow into it and just naturally be. After a while, that sort of, you're not really thinking about it anymore because you're just loving. When you hear a bird sing, you're thanking God. When you see somebody smiling, you're smiling back. When you see somebody sad, you're putting in a little prayer for them. When it's time to work, you're just putting doing your best to do your work right. When it's time to go to sleep, you go to sleep. When it's time to eat, you eat something right and you don't eat too much of it. When it's time to exercise, you exercise. When it's time to speak something, you speak it. When it's time to hold your tongue, you hold your tongue. So you just practice living this way. And that's kind of sounds very disciplined and structured. But what I found is that the more you practiced it, the freer you became. I can understand where the Taoists talk about Wu Wei is because you've kind of created the structure of how you're going to live. And you do it with a consistent manner enough that it starts to being second nature and you're not really thinking about it. You're just doing it. Like I just drove here from a distance. Was I thinking the whole time, okay, hold the gas pedal down just the right way and make sure you keep your foot on the pedal right there with your hand on the wheel and both hands, of course, both hands on the wheel, and be ready because anything could happen at a moment here where you would need to take your foot off the accelerator and brake. And okay, keep your hands on the wheel and make sure that foot, you're not even thinking about it, you're just driving. And it's sort of, I guess that's what I'm saying with this idea of Wu Wei. You'll have to look it up. W-U-W-E-I, I think it's transliterated as. Check it out. From the Tao Te Ching, I believe. From Lao Tzu, or Lao Tzu. People say it differently. Anywho.